Okay, so hello guys. Last time we did the small example. Whenever I press on the start button, I can see that time is incrementing by 1. And if we go back to the code, we use states, and time is actually a state variable for the component 1. So, and we said that states are variables or objects that are specific to one component. And whenever an update happens, okay, like this one, to any of the states of the component, okay, we have it causes the component to re-render. Okay, so today, before doing, as promised, another example on states, I want to introduce to you another hook on React, which is the use effect. So what use effect does actually is whenever whatever is written inside of this of these brackets is going to happen. Okay, whatever block of code is written inside of these brackets is going to perform whenever a component b renders. Okay, for whenever the component one b renders. Okay, so let's say for example I type in console.log component b rendered. Okay, and the console.log actually is like the print statements. It's used for debugging purposes. Okay, so if we go back to the React app and we just right click and we go to inspect element and open up the console, we can see whenever I press on the button, okay, I can see that the console.log component re-rendered is happening. So that is a proof to you that actually it is true whenever an update happened to any of the states, okay, of the component re-renders. Okay, so that's for a fact. Now let's start with another small example, which is slightly more challenging about states. Okay, so I'll let me erase everything. Okay, okay. So let's write in a simple HTML code. So I want an input and I want also a select, which has four options. I want the plus option, I want minus, multiplier, and then okay, multiplier, and then I want the divider. Let's add in values to these. Okay, let's give that value of plus. Let's copy paste that. Okay. So these are basics HTML code. Okay, so if you don't do that, if you don't know that, please make sure that you do. And let me add in another input. Okay, so you guessed it, we are performing a small calculator actually. So this input is a space for us to type in whatever number we want, and we can choose whatever operation we want, and that's the second number. And you also need a button just to whenever we click on that, we calculate if you want the operation. Okay, so I think that's all we need. So actually we need to map in this input, this value of the select, the other number, okay, to a state actually. So this input needs to be a number 1, this other input needs to have number 2, and this also needs to have a state if you want in a variable. So let's start. Okay, const num1. Okay, and let's set, we have a set method for num1 which is equal to use state. We're not going to give it a, okay, and another num2, set num2. Okay, and another use state for that, no initial value, and also we need a constant for the operation. Okay, let's name it up for simplicity. Set up equal to use state, also no initial value, and also we need a constant state for the result actually of the operation. So constant result, set result equal to use state. Okay, so now to be able to map this input to this number 1, this other input number 2, and the option, okay, to this op, okay, we need to add in an event. Okay, as we did last time, we added an event to the button. So here to the input we need to add in an onChange event. So whenever a change happens to this input, I want to update this number one. So actually, first of all, this is the lambda function. So whatever is the e actually is a dummy variable. Okay, so whenever change happens in the input, this change the value in it. Okay, we are gonna put it in set number one. So set number one is equal to e dot target dot value. So that's how you do it. And because this e dot target dot value is a string, actually, we need to parse it into an integer. Okay, so let's parse int actually. Okay, so now whatever changes happen in the input, whatever I type in inside of this input, I'm gonna map it to the number one. So it's gonna be number one. We are gonna do the same thing for number two. Okay, that is set number two. And also we need also a, oh, I have set num two. I have, am I getting an error? Set num2 is not defined. Oh, okay. Okay. So we also need to add in an onChange to the select. Okay. So that's the same thing. So we need to set the op to e.target.value. Okay, so that's how we map the actual inputs that we are choosing, okay, and or the user actually is choosing to actual states or variables on the in the component. Okay, so let us write in a function actually to handle the operation. So I'm gonna write in function handle operation. Okay, that's another way actually to write functions in JavaScript. So if the op is equal to plus, okay, that's simple coding actually. I want to set the result, as you guessed it, to num1 plus num2. Okay, same thing. Else if op is equal to minus, you guessed it, I'm gonna set the result to num1 minus num2. Okay, else if up is equal to, I want to set the result to num1 times num2, and if any, not any of these options, I want to set, of course, the result to num1 divided by num2. Okay, so of course we need to add in this handle operation to the onClick event of the button. So whenever we click on the button, I want to perform this handle operation. Okay, and we need one more thing actually, is to display the output on the browser. So we need to display this result actually that we're getting. So let's display it on an H1, because why not? The result is, and then we open up these brackets and we put in the result. So let's test it out. So let's say, for example, I chose 5 times 10, and then I calculate and I get 50. So let's try and 53 plus 20, 73. So it's working just fine. So that was a quick example on states. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask your questions, excuse me, on the comment section. And I'll see you in the next video.